Hello guys, here's video 2, wholesaling houses with the flip man, how to locate sellers. This is a third of the entire process. I guess 1, 2, 3 would be, a third would be sellers, a third would be your buyers, and the other third would be closing the deal. Okay, so this is the first portion of it, how to locate sellers. Information. It is so powerful. The famous Gordon Gekko from Wall Street, the most valuable commodity in Wall Street 1 was information. Wall Street 2, he said it was time. But we're going to stick on information right now. But with that being said, let's go through the bullet points here, and I'll explain these, and there'll be resources provided, which obviously you're taking on me as a coach also, so I'll be able to just direct you and send you in the right direction on a lot of these also. But direct mail. Okay, direct mail can be done in several formats. One of the most difficult things about commercial real estate along with multifamily is, number one, yeah, you can find out who owns the property, but a lot of times these properties are tied up into entities, LLC or corporation or incorporation, so they don't really have a name attached to it. And in some situations, the mail that's received on the property won't go directly to the owner. It will go to a property management company or maybe even an attorney. These are somewhat gatekeepers for the actual owner or owners of a particular multifamily property. So when you're doing your due diligence, in most cases, in most states and counties, whenever you do a search for the actual property, you look up the tax records, because you know what? The tax bill has to go somewhere. Your state, your county, the federal government, they're going to get there. So they have to have a way to contact the owner, whether that's through the direct to the owner, through a property management company or attorney that's handling their business affairs. There's a mailing address. So some of the direct mail pieces that you send out will be filtered by a gatekeeper. So there's nothing really you can do about that. Sometimes they'll go ahead and contact the owner, but depending on what their interests are in the property and what they know about the owner's position with the property right now, may be to your benefit sometimes, and sometimes it may not be. So understand that all pieces that you send out, the owner is not receiving in some cases, just because the way they have is structured. But with direct mail, and you're going to hopefully be making notes on all this stuff that I'm doing. Obviously, you can go back and watch this as many times as you want. But with direct mail, what has worked for me? Well, number one, let's talk about how you obtain the list. Now, how you attain lists will vary in the sense that you'll go and use information brokers such as listsource.com, melissadata.com. Remember, the stuff that I'm saying, you can go back and repeat, and plus I'm going to send you there's going to be a list included here of the websites that you can use for resource for different reasons for your wholesaling business. But Melissa Data and listsource.com, melissadata.com and listsource.com, both of those are information brokers. There are others out there, but those are two of the most noted ones. And what you're going to do there is that you're going to buy a list of apartment owners. I always suggest don't try to do it online. Call and speak to one of their sales associates to help you create your list. And a lot of times you can negotiate with them a good price if they think you're going to continue to do business with them. But doing a direct mail campaign, first you need to obtain your list. So you may break your list down, say you only want to target properties, and we'll just use Houston, Texas as the identifier. And you'll want to target properties, and it's all going to depend on how they have it broken down with a particular county that you're targeting within a particular state. But you may want to target properties with 50 units or more, 50 units or more. So sometimes they'll have that broken down into actual units, but sometimes they won't. So some of it is going to be guesswork in the sense that you may say the average apartment is 600 or 700 square feet. That's a 2-bedroom, 1-bath. So you may only get the square footage. So you may have to get the square footage of a particular property and divide it by 700 in order to determine if how many units may possibly be in a particular multifamily property. To give an example, you may have a property that says it's 51,000 square feet, and you divide that by 700. So that's 72 units, according to my math. And that'll just be a guess, more or less. You'll know it's over 50 units. And so you may have to break it down like that. I just wanted to make sure, because sometimes whenever you're doing those lists, they won't be able to give you an exact number of units. You may have to base it on square footage, and that's when you'll use some of the research tools online, such as Google Maps, to actually probably take an actual look at the actual property itself. It'll give you a good visual of it once you know the address of a particular property. All right, so direct mail, how you use your direct mail. First, you're going to go ahead and do one or two things. You can do it one or two ways. But either way, I suggest that you use a handwritten message to when you send them out. And the reason that you want to do handwritten, or what will appear to be handwritten, but you can go to YouTube and do a search for yellow letters, and you'll see one of my videos on yellow letters, and it'll show you what I mean by this. But the reason that you want to do handwritten, whenever you're doing a direct mail campaign, your objective is to get your message read. That's your objective. All right, so you increase your chances of getting your message read, or your open rate, whenever you handwrite something, because it increases your chances of it getting read, because it's personalized, or appears to be personalized to the actual owner or whoever receiving that particular item. So whether that's the actual owner themselves, a property management company, or attorney handling his business affairs on that property, that increases the chances of that message getting read and being received by the decision maker. That's the only thing that you can do. So you can do handwritten letters, do handwritten items on postcards and or yellow letters themselves. So direct mail is going to be a great lead generator when trying to locate a seller, an owner of a particular multifamily property. All right, the next thing is brokers. Whereas I don't like to use real estate agents and brokers when dealing with residential, because they just don't get it for the most part. Not saying all, but for the most part, they don't get it. Whereas it's totally different ball game when you're dealing with commercial brokers. They get it for the most part. Most of them get it. Now, I don't care what you're doing. Everybody's not going to be receptive to when you make a call to a particular company about whatever. You just depend on how the day is going. They don't understand what you want. Whatever situation, they're not always going to be receptive. So keep that in mind. It's a numbers game. But when you want to reach out to brokers, and you always want to target property, I don't care if through direct mail, the brokers, property management, paying attention to market research, whatever, you always want to target properties that are off market. And let me define off market. Off market simply means, in my definition, is whenever you Google the address and you don't find that property advertised anywhere online, that's off market enough for me. because normally it's not going to be on MLS either if you can't Google it and it appears to be on sale, for sale somewhere on a particular website. You will find information on the property itself, but it's not for sale anywhere. That's the main thing, that the property is not for sale anywhere online. The reason that that is important is because whenever your buyer starts to do that research, most people are going to do the same thing. They're going to go to Google, input the address, bam, if it's for sale, whoever had the property for sale, their contact information in there. That could be a deal breaker because of the confusion. You want to control how your property is being advertised online. You have to control that to wholesale apartments. It's going to be houses also. It's going to be very, very difficult for you to wholesale anything if the property is already being advertised by another source with their contact information. It can just be a deal breaker because of the confusion that you don't have control of this deal as you need to in order for that deal to work. Okay, so dealing with brokers, you'll simply reach out to brokers and you will reach out to them and basically ask if they have any properties off market. First thing they're going to ask you is, who are you? You tell them you're a cash buyer. You deal with the network or cash or hedge fund, whatever you want to tell them. But normally I'm going to tell them I'm a cash buyer. They don't know me from Adam. It doesn't matter. All I need to know is just how to talk the talk and hopefully walk the walk. But so the next thing they're going to wonder, well, what are you looking for? So you need to have an idea what type of properties you want to target. If you want to do only 25 to 50 units, or you only want to do 10 to 20 units in a particular area, a particular region, a particular state, particular county, particular city, you need to know all of that before you reach out to a broker. Also, they're going to want to know what price range that you want to deal in. They're going to want to know the occupancy rate, meaning how many, if you got 50 units, how many of them are rented. So if the occupancy rate is 90%, then that means you got 45 of them rented. Okay, so they're going to want to know that. They're going to want to know what type of cap rate do you want to deal with, which I'll get into the cap rate also, and what type of cash flow that you're looking for from the property. They're going to want to know how you're going to pay for it. That's important also. So in most cases, you're going to tell them if a cash price is available, you can make a purchase the property cash if a cash price is presented. But you may want some owner financing, or you may bring to this. It just depends on the deal. You can do all three. It just depends on what the price is, whether you'll do a actual cash purchase, or you'll bring a loan with a down payment, or you'll look for some owner financing. So you'll need to have all of those things ready to go whenever you're speaking to a broker, because those are going to be the general questions that they ask. Go back and listen to this again. You can go back as many times as you want to listen to this. All right, property management companies, you'll just reach out to them the same way that you will with brokers, and they have something to lose in some situations. So understand that, because if a particular client sells the property, then they may lose that actual contract to manage that property, which means revenue for them. So you can still reach out to them. Just be aware that may be a possibility. Now, the other thing is paying attention to your market. Simply just knowing, you probably noticed an apartment complex that's been vacant for years, and it's just simply just doing research on it at that point to see if you can reach the owner and see if they would be interested in selling the property. Sometimes those are some smoking deals because of the situation. You never know why there's a story why that property is vacant, and you could be the one to take advantage of that because the seller may be really motivated for any number of reasons. A lot of cases because the amount of repairs that are needed. In most cases, the city has placed liens on it that's going to be staggering. All of that's negotiable, but that's an opportunity for you to take advantage of a distressed situation. And the other thing is just simply research. Basically the same thing, just paying attention to your market and researching properties. And you can simply just research properties, just period. You can just pick out a particular area and just start researching properties in that area. But this is how to locate sellers. Go back and go through this video again. But these are some of the main ways to research sellers. Thanks. I look forward to seeing you on the next video.